we're going to be talking about the post-sale client experience in part 6 of our Creating a Winning Funnel series. So in this episode, it's going to be all about what happens after your customer buys. And in the last episode, where we talked about thank you pages, that is a big part of the post-sale client experience. Absolutely. And we'll touch on the highlights from that just a little bit at the beginning, but then we're going to move on some of the other things to think about that extend beyond just the thank you page, but instead go into what happens for the emails, for the ads, what gifts can you send them, what can you do to feature your best stories, what can you do on social media to strengthen that relationship over time. Because ultimately this is all about cultivating the relationship after someone becomes a customer. The post-sale experience is what's going to dictate whether or not they come back and they keep buying from you because they know they're going to have a great time and they're going to get results. So that's what this episode is all about. Let's get right into it. So for thank you pages, that is the first thing that customers get to experience post-sale. And that's why we did an entire episode on it. They are so important and they tend to get left to an afterthought. But the reality is you need to give them as much attention as any other page in your funnel. So the highlights from what we talked about are, to make a good thank you page, you need to ensure that you give your customer very, very, very clear next steps for what to do. And that means that there can't be any ambiguity on how they access the product. Because when customers actually get out the other side, they finally buy, if they can't find the product and that's their first impression, then it's going to make them a lot less likely to buy from you. So the thank you page needs to give a very clear next step on how to access the product and what to do. You don't want to give them 5 different things to do, just one very clear next step. We also talked about how thank you pages are another place where you could potentially make an offer, and that really is determined by whether or not you can respect your customer at that point in time with the offer that you give them. So if you're curious on how to craft an offer on a thank you page that respects your customer, go listen to the last episode. But outside of that...
Not to mention, we want to continue and keep passing along gratitude. We can never have enough gratitude. So we got to thank our customers for everything that they do for us.
Yeah, exactly. So the last thing I was going to say is, outside of that, the product delivery and potentially making another offer, the thank you page should genuinely thank them and should make them feel very good about the purchase that they just made. You want to congratulate them. You want to tell them that they just made a very important step to getting whatever results that they want. And you want to make sure that they feel like they've joined a supportive community by coming into your world. And they don't feel like they're going to be left isolated trying to figure out how to do things all by themselves. So I think that's pretty much all we're going to say here for the thank you pages, because we did I think it was like a 30-40 minute episode on it. So that's thank you pages. It's touching on a very important part of the post-sale client experience, which is how they actually get the product. So let's dive into that a little bit, because there's several different ways that you can actually deliver the product. And I want to kind of go around and talk about the different ways to do that effectively. So Brian, you want to get us started on how to deliver the product in a very clear way?
Sure. So, of course, there's thank you pages. There's also emails that you can send a couple of different ways, and also membership sites, which are, I think that's pretty much our preferred method right now, right?
Yeah, and why is that?
Membership sites?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's because membership sites feel really official and professional, and everything is all in one place. You don't need to keep track of a link to a PDF or the file wherever you saved it as a customer. It's just you need to remember your login, and then all of the products that you've bought are right there, sitting there for you. No chance of getting lost. And it also gives you a nice opportunity to present your products in a really clean way, make them look really nice, and that will help your brand as a whole feel really good.
Yeah, I mean, even just the simple thing that by having a membership site, it allows you to give people a welcome video.